In life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and to let fear and doubt take control. But what if the key to overcoming every obstacle lies in a simple yet powerful choice? In this video, we dive deep into the essence of faith. How turning our focus to God transforms our struggles into testimonies of His faithfulness. You'll discover that even in the toughest moments, there's a source of peace and strength that is always with you, ready to guide you forward. As we explore the profound wisdom of Psalm 121, learn how trusting in God's unshakable love can bring clarity, comfort, and the courage you need to face life's storms with unwavering confidence. This isn't just a message of hope, it's a powerful reminder that no matter how lost you may feel, God's promise to never leave you remains. Watch until the end to unlock the transformative power of trusting in His divine plan. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons from God. In the depths of our hearts, we know that life is not without its storms. And yet, despite this understanding, it is so incredibly easy to lose sight of this truth amid the overwhelming challenges we face. The weight of our struggles, the intensity of our pain, and the heavy burden we carry sometimes feel as though they will swallow us whole. We can find ourselves trapped in the hopelessness of it all, convinced that the force of our trials is too great for us to ever overcome. We question our ability to endure, doubting whether we have enough strength to press forward. But the reality is, as much as we wish it was different, this journey of life was never meant to be free from hardship. Jesus Himself, in His infinite wisdom, reminded us that we would indeed face tribulation in this world. He did not sugarcoat the reality of our suffering. But He also gave us a message of unshakable hope. "Take heart," He said, "for I have overcome the world." This powerful promise reverberates through the very core of our being, a reminder that, no matter how fierce the storm or how seemingly insurmountable our difficulties may be, His love and grace will never leave us. We are never beyond the reach of His unending, compassionate embrace. Even when we feel lost in the darkness, it is through faith in Him that we find the strength to rise, persevere, and push through with unwavering courage. His love is far greater than any challenge, and it empowers us to stand firm in the face of the most daunting obstacles. When we take a moment to reflect on the vastness of the universe, on the boundless beauty of creation and the awe-inspiring intricacy of life itself, we are invited into a deeper understanding of God's presence in our lives. The very fact that this immense, glorious world exists is a testament to His greatness, to His unwavering faithfulness. And in that very same moment, He is inviting us to open our hearts to Him, to trust in His promises, and to lean into His unfailing support. Surrendering ourselves to His will is not a weakness, but a profound strength. It is in that surrender that we discover a peace that surpasses all human comprehension, a peace that holds us even amid chaos, a peace that can only come from the assurance that we are never alone. This peace transcends the understanding of our finite minds. It allows us to let go of our fears and to walk in faith, knowing that no matter what we face, we are cradled in the care of the One who created us. This journey we walk, this path of reflection, of faith, is not merely about finding the answers to the questions that plague us or the solutions to our problems. It is about unearthing a truth so deep, so rooted, that it cannot be shaken by the trials we endure. It is about recognizing that our struggles, though they may seem senseless and painful in the moment, are part of a larger story, one that is woven with purpose, with love, and with grace. As we embark on this sacred journey together, let us never forget that we are never alone. God's presence is a constant, unyielding force, guiding us through every high and low moment of uncertainty. He is there with us every step of the way, offering us the strength to keep going and the peace to rest in His arms. So in this moment, take a deep breath. Let go of your burdens, and open your heart to the profound truth that you are deeply loved, deeply supported, and never, ever alone. Let this truth wash over you, filling you with a peace that transcends the present, as we walk together in faith, with God at our side, illuminating the way. Have you ever found yourself caught in awe, gazing at the vast expanse of the night sky, or standing before the endless horizon of the ocean? In those moments, something stirs within us, a profound sense of how incredibly small we are in comparison to the enormity of it all. The weight of our problems, our pain, and our daily struggles can feel so overwhelming, as though they will consume us and swallow us whole. But amid that overwhelming vastness, something shifts inside us. There is an awakening, an understanding that everything, even our most burdensome struggles, is part of something much larger, something far grander than we can comprehend. Our pain and our challenges become like fleeting leaves caught in the wind, blowing away in the wake of a power far greater than ourselves. Time, with its infinite wisdom, will carry them away. I picture God as an eternal, unstoppable river, flowing relentlessly, calmly, with grace and purpose. Nothing can stop the current. The obstacles, the stones in its path, are insignificant in comparison to the river's majestic flow. So too are our burdens, small, fleeting, and powerless when set against the vastness of His love and strength. In moments when I feel crushed beneath the weight of my struggles, I remind myself that they are but small stones in the grand river of His grace. Yes, they may seem heavy now, but they are nothing in comparison to the unstoppable force of His love. There have been countless times in my life when I felt as though I could not bear another ounce of pain when the weight of the world seemed too much to endure. In those moments, I was convinced that my strength was insufficient and that I would not survive the storm. But time has a way of gently teaching us that there is always a way out, and that even in the darkest moments, God's presence is unwavering. He has carried me through the deepest valleys, reminding me that I am never, ever alone. His love, His faithfulness, His presence. These are the bedrock that supports me when life feels unbearable. No matter how stormy the journey, I can rest in the unshakable knowledge that I am held, cherished, and never left to face it alone. The powerful words of Psalm 46 verse 1 echo through my soul. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Amid our deepest struggles, these words serve as a profound reminder. No matter how heavy the weight of our burdens may feel, they rest firmly in the hands of the one who is greater than any difficulty we may face. It's so easy in the chaos of life for our minds to play tricks on us, magnifying our problems until they seem insurmountable. Our fears, anxieties, and worries swirl around us like dark clouds, consuming our thoughts, clouding our vision, and distorting our sense of reality. In these moments, we must remember to shift our focus, step back from the overwhelming pressures that tighten around our chests, and try to see life from a broader perspective. Sometimes, all we need is to adjust our gaze, to open our hearts to a new way of seeing things. In this space, in this video, I hope to walk beside you on this journey of reflection, lifting our thoughts and hearts together to a place of greater peace. I want to offer you a prayer, a chance for us to seek connection with something far greater than ourselves, something that strengthens, heals, and restores. If you haven't yet subscribed, now is the perfect time to become a part of a community where we seek comfort and encouragement together, lifting each other in the face of life's challenges. It's crucial to remember that no matter who we are or what we've gone through, we all face challenges. This universal truth binds us as human beings. Our problems, no matter how monumental they may appear in the moment, are not the end of the story. They are not insurmountable. With faith, with a broader perspective, we can see that these trials are temporary, and they hold the potential to help us grow and connect with others in profound ways. We are all walking the same path, facing the same inevitable challenges. Life is full of seasons. Some we can predict, and others take us by surprise. The seasons change whether we are ready or not, and the challenges arrive in forms and intensities that sometimes feel unshakable, but they are always part of the cycle of life. There is a delicate dance between what we can bear and what seems beyond our strength, between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Like many, I too once believed that by drawing closer to God, my life would transform into a calm sea, a peaceful existence where suffering would no longer have a place. I imagined that faith would be like a wall of protection against the chaos, a shield that would render me immune to the pain and struggles of the world. But this illusion quickly shattered, leaving me stunned and vulnerable. Perhaps you've experienced the same disillusionment, a feeling that your faith should have made life easier, that it should have offered you some kind of sanctuary where struggles cease to exist. It can be heartbreaking when we realize that, despite our closeness to God, the storms still come. This realization is not an easy one to face. It's painful, even frustrating. If you felt this same sense of betrayal or frustration, I want you to know that you are not alone. Many hearts have walked this path, yet it's a path that's often difficult to understand and even harder to reconcile with our hopes. It's this very experience, the struggle with unanswered questions and unmet expectations, that we want to reflect on, to seek a path of understanding, peace, and trust. The harsh truth we cannot escape is that God never promised us a life free of difficulties. He never offered a life without pain, without sorrow. His words are not filled with empty promises or illusions. Nowhere in the Bible does he say, Come to me, and you will never experience hardship or loss. We often find ourselves clinging to promises he never made, feeding an illusion that surrendering to him would grant us immunity from the storms of life. But this immunity, if it ever seemed real, is nothing more than a mirage, a fleeting hope that fades and leaves us feeling exposed, even angry at God. What God truly offers us is not freedom from hardship, but his constant presence, his unwavering care, his gentle but firm support as we navigate the challenges of life. Jesus, in John 16 verse 33, tells us plainly, "I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." These words are not meant to deceive us into thinking that suffering won't come. They are a call to courage in the face of it. Jesus does not promise us a life without struggles, but he does promise that he has overcome the world and that his victory is ours. And in him, we can find peace, even amid tribulation. This is the reality we must accept. The struggles will come. They will knock us down, shake us to our core, and challenge us in ways we never imagined. But we are never abandoned in these moments. With every burden, every fear, every wave of doubt, we are invited to lean into the presence of the one who is greater than any of it. And with his help, we will find the strength to rise, to press on, and to see beyond the clouds to the light that always remains. He is preparing us for a struggle of immense significance, one that will shape and strengthen us by his boundless power. When I reflect on his words, it's as though he is gently speaking to our hearts, saying, "Understand that life will be filled with challenges, but know that I will always be by your side." He wants us to embrace the truth that hardship is an unavoidable part of the human experience, an integral, albeit difficult, part of life. And amidst all the chaos, when it feels like the world is crashing down, there is Jesus. Like a steady anchor in the tempest, he is the answer to every battle, the one who sustains us with a love so steadfast, so loyal, that he wants us to see him as our deliverer, our protector, our refuge in times of deepest need. As Isaiah 41 verse 10 powerfully declares, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This promise echoes through the very fabric of our lives, reminding us that faith is like finding an anchor in the middle of a stormy sea. When the tumultuous waves of difficulty try to sweep us away, it is faith that holds us steady, rooted in something far greater, far more unshakable than any storm. In those moments, I strive to shift my focus, not on the adversity, but on him, the one who is my fortress, my unwavering refuge. In his promises, I find a shield, a sanctuary, and an endless source of peace that cannot be moved, even in the fiercest storms. My faith, then, becomes like a torch that dispels the deepest shadows, lighting my way with its steady glow. It's a light that prevents me from falling into despair, no matter how dark the road may seem. Fear, no matter how insurmountable it feels, weakens when it comes face to face with sincere, unwavering faith. So, I continue walking, step by step, knowing with all my heart that God is greater than any problem, any obstacle. Amid hardship, the pressure of discouragement is overwhelming, and the weight of hopelessness can feel suffocating. It's in these very moments, though, that our trust in God must grow deeper, like a root that burrows deep into the soil, finding strength and sustenance from the firm foundation beneath. If you are still watching this video, and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. When the storm rages, it is not the time to surrender to despair. It is the time to lift our eyes and remember the enormity of God's power. It's the moment to believe with everything in us that even when the situation seems unbearable, he can save, deliver, and accomplish the impossible. Our hearts must cling to this truth. The God who created the universe, the one who spoke the stars into existence, is with us in our struggle. Giving up on faith now would be the same as letting go of the hand of the one who holds us, protects us, and carries us when we cannot go on. As Paul reminds us in 2 Corinthians 4 verses 8 to 9, we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed. Even in our darkest moments, we are sustained by the strength of the one who created us. Let this be our declaration, our strength, our unshakable truth, echoing through every fiber of our being. Instead of allowing words of discouragement to take root in our hearts, let our declarations of faith rise as living shields, reflecting the certainty that we are never alone and that God's presence is always with us. These hardships, no matter how intense, will not break us. When we speak our faith sincerely, we invite God's hand to move on our behalf, and we ask for His intervention with unwavering confidence, knowing that He is present and ready to deliver. The power of God is revealed most clearly when we seek Him with a sincere heart, believing that He is more than capable of acting on our behalf. After all, who in their right mind would want to face everything alone? Who would choose to focus solely on the difficulties in front of them, when the help He offers is so filled with love, so rich in grace? God loves us beyond measure. He longs to be part of every detail of our lives, the struggles, the victories, the moments in between. What better companion could we have than the one who knows us intimately, who understands the depths of our pain and the joy of our victories? He knows the dangers, the uncertainties, and the trials we face. His desire is not to watch us from afar, but to walk alongside us, as our faithful companion. However, He never forces His presence upon us. He invites us to choose Him, to walk with Him through life's darkest valleys. And when we choose to walk with God, even when the circumstances seem overwhelming, even when they appear much larger than ourselves, we find strengths we never knew we had. With God, what once seemed impossible becomes just another stage in our journey of faith, another opportunity for His power to be revealed in our lives. In moments like these, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, the hope of divine intervention becomes the only light at the end of the tunnel. Or perhaps it's your family, going through a trial so difficult that only a powerful, unseen hand could provide a solution. There is nothing wrong with recognizing this need for divine help. The real mistake would be thinking that we have to face everything alone. Why insist on carrying a burden that we know is far too heavy for our shoulders? God's love is waiting to lift us, to carry us, and to show us that we are never alone in our struggles. His help is more than enough. It is the strength that sustains us through every challenge and every storm. The true power lies in the contemplative teaching process, in pausing long enough to reflect and realize the depth of God's presence in our lives. Why allow anxiety, fear, and despair to take root when we have a God who understands every intricate detail of our circumstances and knows the game of life infinitely better than we ever could? He is not only aware of our struggles, but He is also intimately acquainted with the intricacies of our hearts, our needs, and the path we walk. He only asks one thing of us: trust. Trust in His promises. Trust in the testimonies of countless faithful people who have encountered His power and experienced His love in ways that defy explanation. He is not just everything we imagine Him to be, but so much more. He is our refuge, our aid, and our strength, especially on those days when we feel as though we can barely hold ourselves up. The Scriptures consistently remind us, with a touch of humility, of who God truly is and where we stand about Him. God, who made the heavens His throne and the earth His footstool, is infinitely greater than anything we could ever comprehend. The vastness of His power and majesty dwarfs everything else in existence, and understanding this fact changes everything. It brings everything into proper perspective. If the whole world, with all its oceans, mountains, and infinite expanses, is small before Him, how much more insignificant are our problems in comparison? It can be hard to grasp, but it is the truth we must cling to. We are like grains of sand on a vast beach, a beach He knows intimately, one that He created and sustains. No matter how massive our problems may seem to us at the moment, they are tiny when compared to the boundless power of God. We must guard ourselves against the deception of our weakness, which can trick us into believing that God is weak as well. It is precisely in our moments of greatest fragility that God shows Himself to be at His most powerful. When we are at our weakest, it is often then that God's strength is most profoundly revealed. Our inability becomes the canvas on which His mighty power is painted in unexpected, awe-inspiring ways. He is capable of far more than we could ever fathom. Nothing is beyond His reach. Take, for example, the powerful image found in Mark 4 verses 37 to 39. Picture the scene. A violent storm rages over the sea. The wind howls with fury, and the waves crash violently against the boat, threatening to capsize it. Water floods the deck, and the disciples are consumed with fear, their hearts gripped by panic. Life, it seems, is slipping away with each crashing wave. And yet, amid this chaos, Jesus remains in the stern, peacefully sleeping on a cushion, completely calm in the face of everything that terrifies the disciples. The contrast is unsettling. The disciples, overwhelmed with fear, wake him up, asking, "Master, do you not care that we are perishing?" With a peace that transcends all human understanding, Jesus calmly rises, looks at the storm, and commands the wind and the waves to, "Peace, be still." And just like that, the wind stops, and the sea becomes calm, like a mirror reflecting a perfect peace. This same peace is what Jesus desires for us when we face our storms. He calls us to recognize that we are never alone in the tempest. Beside us is the one who, with just a word, can cause the storm to cease and peace to fill the void. This peace, his peace, is what he longs for us to embrace, trusting that no matter how intense the storm, he is in control. To truly believe in Jesus means to believe that he is exactly who he says he is, the Son of God, the Savior, the light that can transform the deepest darkness into brilliant light. But it is here that faith is truly tested. When the storms of life rage around us, do we allow despair to take hold of our hearts? How often do we, even while professing faith in Christ, fall into the trap of anguish and lamentation when life stretches us to our limits? Perhaps it's time to break that cycle. God calls us to respond to trials and difficulties with the opposite of what despair demands. There are times when we may feel too overwhelmed to stop the tears or to silence the panic. But even in those moments, God is inviting us to trust him. He wants us to keep our eyes on him, not on the storm. He wants us to remember that true peace is found in an unwavering trust in his care and sovereignty, especially during times of difficulty and uncertainty. It is so easy to be consumed by the weight of our problems, allowing them to overshadow our faith and erode the hope that should be our guide. The enemy knows exactly how to exploit our weaknesses, drawing our focus away from God's promises and onto the chaos surrounding us. But the truth remains, our problems, no matter how immense they seem in the moment, are small in the light of God's eternal power. And in that knowledge, we can find peace. Peace that isn't dependent on our circumstances, but on the unchanging, steadfast love of the one who holds the entire universe in his hands. The moment we choose to fix our eyes on him, to trust in his goodness, is the moment that peace begins to flood our hearts. So, no matter how turbulent the storm is, we can rest assured that the one who calms the waves is with us, ever present, and will never leave us alone. When we become restless and overwhelmed, our faith can falter. How many times have we found ourselves focused only on the immediate difficulties in front of us, letting fear, discouragement, and doubt take root? It's in these moments that we often forget the truth. The solution is never far away. The answer has always been right beside us. It is Jesus, our constant help, our strength, and our refuge in every challenge. When we turn our attention to God, rather than fixating on our fears, we are met with comfort, direction, and the strength to continue moving forward. Faith and hope are not just abstract concepts. They are directly connected to the strength that allows us to stand firm. A solid faith not only gives us hope, but it also fills that hope with strength that comes from God's very essence. It is that strength, that power, that enables us to endure and overcome life's storms. But when we lose our faith, we lose our hope. Without hope, we become weak, our hearts are discouraged and weary, and this weakness can distance us from God. Yet, God is the supreme source of peace, wisdom, and strength. When we fix our focus on him, we open our hearts to a power far greater than anything life can throw our way. Trusting in God is more than just believing in him. It's a decision to lean into his peace, to rest in his strength, and to surrender our limitations. It is the quiet, confident knowing that he has already made a way, that he sees our struggles even before they arise. Trusting in God enables us to face life's storms with the assurance that we are safe in his hands. Even when we can't see the way forward, we know there is always a solution, and that we are not alone in seeking help and guidance. Psalm 121 verses 1-4 encapsulates this perfectly, saying, "I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." How many times have we read these words, offering up prayers for protection and repeating them as a reminder of God's constant care? But there's a deeper layer to this passage, something truly profound. The psalmist doesn't just acknowledge a need for help. He boldly declares that God is the source of that help. He doesn't look to the hills, expecting symbolic answers or signs from nature. He doesn't look down in defeat, but instead fixes his eyes on God alone. He refuses to be distracted by his weaknesses or by the apparent limitations that surround him. In this psalm, the psalmist focuses on the greatness and faithfulness of God, the creator of heaven and earth. The rest of the passage is dedicated to praising God's power and majesty. This is where the psalmist's focus is, not on obstacles, but on the one who has the power to overcome them. It's a powerful reminder of where our attention should be, on God, the one who can transform all things. It's true that focusing on the invisible, on the things we cannot see or fully understand, is not easy, especially when we are amid hardship. But this is the heart of faith. The moment we choose to fix our thoughts and trust in God, we realize that our problems are only a small part of a much bigger story, one in which God is the main character, and He is working all things for our good. If you are still watching this video, and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We may not always see how our current struggles fit into the larger picture, but we can be certain that God is sovereign, and that His power is far greater than any obstacle we face. When we trust in Him, we can be confident that He will provide the strength and guidance we need to persevere, knowing that He is with us every step of the way. The harsh truth is that the problems we face only seem to swell and magnify the more we pour our attention, our energy, and our worry into them. They begin as small, manageable challenges, but soon grow into overwhelming giants that dominate our thoughts, distort our focus, and steal our peace, especially when we forget the one who is sovereign over all things. In His boundless wisdom, God gently beckons us to see these troubles for what they truly are: fleeting obstacles, insignificant in the grand tapestry of the life He has already meticulously planned for us. They are but momentary pauses on the journey He has set before us. Above all, He calls us to fix our eyes, not on the storm raging around us, but on Him, on His unchanging nature, on His eternal goodness, on His perfect love that never wavers. There is something profoundly life-altering in this divine guidance. God acts with purpose, and He sees us through eyes of love so deep and transformative, it changes everything. His love is both protective and redemptive. He will never abandon us in our moments of struggle. He is forever present, always ready to intervene once we acknowledge our desperate need for Him. No matter how fierce the battle or how long and treacherous the road may appear, God's voice echoes through the noise, reminding us that we are still a work in progress. As long as His plan is unfolding, He will remain by our side. He is the God who shifts the very course of history, who rescues us from the depths of despair, and who guides us with loving precision toward the destiny He has already ordained. Think about the powerful examples scattered throughout Scripture. Sarah, for instance, was told that bearing a child was impossible, that her womb was barren, and that her dream of motherhood was forever out of reach. The world said no, but God, in His boundless power, made a way when there was no way. His word was fulfilled, and she became the mother of a great nation. Then there's David, a simple shepherd boy, tending to sheep on a lonely hill, with no royal blood to claim, no credentials, and no glory, yet God saw in him something others could not. In God's eyes, David was a king long before anyone else recognized it. His faithfulness in the small, unseen moments transformed his humble beginnings into a glorious testimony of leadership, courage, and divine favor. So be patient. Trust in the God whose wisdom is infinite, whose ways are beyond our understanding. His plans are perfect, and He can transform any situation into a powerful testimony of His faithfulness. Where human strength fails, where circumstances seem impossible, God stands ready to open new paths aligned perfectly with His eternal purpose. This is the profound promise of a God who walks with us, who opens doors where we thought only walls existed. In His infinite power, Lord, You make us more than capable of overcoming. Even when our vision is clouded, and our hearts are overwhelmed with fear, our trust remains anchored in Your wisdom, which never falters. We place our burdens, our worries, and our doubts into Your hands, knowing that You will always act according to Your divine purpose. Even when the road ahead is unclear, we can rest in the unshakable confidence that we are held by the perfect knowledge of a Father who will never leave us. With hearts brimming with faith and humility, we come together in prayer, seeking Your guidance, Your presence, and Your strength. Our Father in heaven, may Your name be honored above all. You are the faithful God, deserving of every ounce of our praise and worship, and we lift You high for who You are, our Creator, our Protector, our firm and unshakable rock. We acknowledge that we have done nothing to deserve your promise to never leave or forsake us, yet you remain with us in our weakness and doubt. For this, and every moment of grace you bestow, we praise you with all that we are. We look to you now, recognizing that our help comes not from fleeting circumstances, but from you, the Creator of the universe. We humbly bow before you, acknowledging that nothing is outside the reach of your power and that no situation escapes your sovereign hand. Many of us, with no other refuge, look only to you in this moment of uncertainty and fear. We stand before you, Lord, with hearts laid bare, seeking the comfort of your presence, the strength that holds us when we falter, and the wisdom that lights our way. In you, we place every sorrow, every fear, and every doubt. We trust that you hear us and that you will answer us at your perfect time. Calm our anxious hearts, renew our faith, and restore our hope, for we know that with your love, all things are possible. We rest in the assurance that we are never alone, for you are with us, and in your hands, we are safe. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who sustains every breath, every heartbeat, and every moment of our lives. Nothing in our journey is hidden from your gaze. You understand our pain, our struggles, and the weight of the burdens we carry, even in silence. May we always find refuge in your presence, knowing that your love surpasses all understanding and that your grace is sufficient for every trial. Beloved Father, we surrender our burdens to you, trusting in your promise that you will never allow us to carry more than we can bear. In you, we find our strength when we are weak, and our peace amidst every storm. Strengthen our hearts to stand firm in the face of adversity, and fill us with your peace, the peace that stills our anxious thoughts and quiets the voice of fear. Grant us the wisdom that only you can give, the wisdom that guides us through chaos, and helps us discern your will even amid confusion. As we reflect on the powerful truths we've explored today, let's pause and think about what we've learned. The challenges we face may seem insurmountable at times, but we've been reminded that God is always with us, guiding us, and transforming our struggles into testimonies of his faithfulness. Whether it's trusting in his wisdom, believing in his timing, or finding peace in his presence, we are never alone in our journey. Now, we want to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned today that you'll carry with you and put into practice in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video has spoken to you, please leave your comment, give it a like, and don't forget to share it with others who may need this encouragement. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more uplifting content. Thank you for being with us today, and we look forward to hearing how God is working in your life. Stay blessed.